Okay, it's Dave again. I'm back. As we saw in the first video, my opponent just played rook to e8, and now I played king to g2. He plays king to g7 and king to f3, and now he plays rook at e to e2, and I played bishop to e3. Now what I've got in mind is I want to take my king on a little march here from f3 up to c6 and over and capture this a pawn, and then using my king to help advance my pawns on the queen side and hopefully be able to queen a pawn. That's what I have in mind, and I'm using my rook to protect my a pawn and my bishop to protect the f pawn, and also using my rook and bishop to screen my king from moving from f3 to b6. So that's my plan. So let's see how it works out. Black played rook at e to c2. I played king to e4, plays rook to c4 check, king to d5, rook to c7, king to d6, and rook to c8. I played king to d7, and now rook at c to c2. And now I played bishop to c5, following my plan of using my rook and bishop to cut off the rooks from preventing my king from moving to capture the a6 pawn. Black played rook to d2, pinning my rook to my king, forcing the exchange. So I take, he retakes, and now I played king to c6. So what we've got now is he has a rook and I have a bishop and a pawn, but I have the potential of winning his a6 pawn, being two pawns and a bishop for a rook, which is fairly even, but both of my pawns would be passed and connected, and I would have very good chances of winning the game. So black played rook to a2, attacking my a pawn, and I played b5, which turned out to not be the best move. The best move would have been king to b6, and black would have played, let's say, king to f6. I would have taken king takes a6, rook takes a3 check, king to b7, and rook to d3 with a fairly even game. Or after king to b6, if black would have played rook takes a3, then I would have played b5 with the bishop attacking the rook and the pawn attacking his pawn. He would have played rook to b3, I would have played king to a6, king to f6, and white would have had an excellent chance of winning this ending. But unfortunately, I made a second mistake, which was b5. Black played a takes b, I played king takes b, and now king to f6, a4, I'm beginning to push my pawn, king to e6, a5, king to d7, and now bishop to b6. And this is also a mistake. The best move would have been, after king to d7, I should have played a6, king to c7, bishop to e3, f6, a7, and now king to b7. And what I've done now is I'm using my bishop to protect the a7 pawn and the base of my pawn chain at f2, and I would also be able to now bring my king over to the king side and possibly win some of these pawns. So actually this ending, as we see it here, should actually be a draw, but I made another error, but that's how chess is played. Whoever makes the last error is the one that loses. And I've pretty well made three mistakes in this game, and this was the final error of my this particular game. But anyway, let's see how the game finishes up. I played king to d7. Like I said, I played bishop to b6, which is a mistake. And now let's see how white finishes me off. He played rook to b2 check, and I played king to c4. And what I want to do is bring my king to this f6 square, which is the key square for attacking his pawn chain. And if you ever want to figure out where to place or you want to get your king at to attack a pawn chain, you have to figure out which is the best square to attack. You know, of course, he's protecting all these light squares, so it is definitely on the dark square I have to go to. But I immediately know that this is the square I need to get to, is F6, in order to win the pawns on the king side. So black played king to C6, taking away my ability to go to D5, so I have to go to D3. I didn't want to go to E4 because then I would have lost my pawn at F2. Though I would have had a discovered attack, he still is able to protect this pawn and attack my G3 pawn, and he still would have the ability to swing his rook back to A3 in case I decided to move the pawn up the field. Plus, of course, his king would have been very easy. He captured the bishop here. But anyway, those are just some general ideas of why I did not play my king to D4. I had to play it to D3. So why continue with king to B5? I played king to E4, rook to E2 check, king to F4, and now F6. This pretty well shuts me out of the king side with my king. His rook keeps my king boxed in. I played G4, rook to A2, G takes, rook to A4 check, king to G3, and again he limits my mobility of my king. He plays G takes H5. I played F4, rook to A3, king to G2, king to C4, bishop to D8, and now F5. I could have resigned here, but I just wanted to play a little further on, so I played bishop to C7, king to D4, bishop to E5 check, king to E4, bishop to C7, rook to B3, bishop to E5, just shuffling my bishop back, hoping for something. Rook to B5, bishop to C7, rook to B7, bishop to E5, and now rook to A7. And I have no way where I can protect both the A pawn and the F pawn, so here I resigned. Well, anyway, that was my game. I hope you enjoyed it. I usually show how I win, but this time I want to show how black was able to challenge my idea of playing on the light squares. I had a better game at the beginning, and everything was going fine until I made that critical error of capturing my queen first instead of kicking the rook back. But that's crying over spilt milk. But the whole idea is I wanted to show you a game that I thought was a good game. That showed good chess, good ideas, and anyway, black outplayed me and he deserved to win. So until next time, thank you very much.